Hello, everyone. Here's your weather hazard briefing for Monday, April 3rd. First part of this week, we still have some cold and wet conditions with snow and gusty winds continuing into Tuesday. Most of our snow will be over the southern part of the region, especially in the southeast corner. One thing we'll have to watch out outside of the higher elevations, convergence band setting up across the Snake Plain tonight, and then as that swings south and west overnight, have some upslope conditions along the benches of the Snake Plain, especially from Burley over through the Pocatello area. Otherwise, beyond that, additional light snow through Saturday. By midweek, we start to warm up, and with potential high pressure coming in next week, some of us may finally see some 60-degree temperatures in the afternoon. Satellite shows we got quite a bit of moisture streaming in from the south and west. Our area of low pressure currently is to our west, and that eventually meanders its way through our region over the next couple of days as we go through the period. Our weather risk outlook, most of us seeing minor impacts today from snow and wind. We do have some higher impacts across portions of the Magic Valley, especially down closer to I-84 and 86. That continues in the South Hills. Should be pretty breezy, especially along the stretch of 84 there through the Yale area. The Southeast Highlands, we got some snow and breezy conditions, and a little bit higher impact up across portions of Limhi County and on up into the Stanley Basin and the surrounding areas in the Sawtooths. For Tuesday, we continue with the snow, and we talk about potential impacts for the Snake Plain into the Magic Valley. We'll probably be bumping some of this up into a little higher, the moderate impact category, as we kind of figure out where things are going to shape up overnight. But certainly, once again, higher impacts for the South Hills, the Southeast Highlands, on up into the Stanley Basin and Sawtooth areas. And you can see those impacts decreasing through the period, especially as we get it past tomorrow, with the potential of snow impacting the area becoming less and less across the area, and even the light rain and snow coming as we head into the weekend. So looking at how things may shape up today, the most likely thing we'll be seeing is we have an area of snow already over the southeast corner. We've had a little light snow west of Pocatello into the Magic Valley down towards the Jackpot area, and some light snow over the Central Mountains. Going through today, you'll notice that trends are pretty slow to go until we get in the afternoon. As the low meanders closer, we get a little bit of heating today. We get some instability, and you start to see multiple areas of light to even moderate snow spreading north and west. That's rotating around that low. So we go into this afternoon. You'll start to see some trends setting up. This low is going to drop to our south across northern Utah and into western Wyoming. That is a very favorable flow for one convergence band setting up over the Snake Plain, and then eventually the northerly flow setting up upslope across the 84-86 corridor and portions of the I-15 corridor. And you'll notice over late this evening and overnight, we have a pretty good band trying to set up a convergence type band coming down the Snake Plain towards the Magic Valley as we go into the late afternoon and evening hours. And you'll start to see the main push of that band starting to drop into the Magic Valley and again along the bench areas. We have more bands of snow rotating around the low as we go into tonight. And you'll notice we do have upslope conditions, especially west of Pocatello into the Magic Valley. We have another round of snow dropping in overnight, early tomorrow. Again, northerly flow, some pretty good upslope expected from Idaho Falls all the way down towards Twin Falls along the edge of the Snake Plain there. And that trend continues through a good chunk of the morning. Still questioning the intensity of the snow. This may be just very light snow that upslopes into the area through the period. So something we'll be watching out for. And then into tomorrow, you'll see where the convergence band kind of lingers, some gusty westerly winds through the day tomorrow over the Magic Valley, but more northerly or light and variable winds once you get away from that area going into tomorrow afternoon, late in the afternoon hours. So back to the forecast, we'll kind of step through here as we go through the next 24 to 48 hours. For the rest of the morning, Just some light snow across the area, maybe a little bit more snow for the bench areas west of Pocatello, also the higher elevations down towards the South Hills and the Albion Mountains. You can see those gusty winds coming through with some gusts in excess of 30 miles an hour once you get to Burley onto the south. And again, probably locally stronger as you go through the Yale area down along I-84. Into the afternoon hours, winds continue to pick up across areas west of Pocatello. Those west to northwest winds, some gusts well in excess of 40 miles per hour. And with what snow is falling out there, especially where it's new snow, a lot of the older snow has been falling and melting, freezing, thawing, that kind of thing. This will be kind of blowing. Any blowing will be of snow that is currently falling across the area during this period. So again, those gusts over 40 miles per hour. Some northerly winds coming across the divide. I don't necessarily think we're going to have to worry about one of these situations where there's a lot of blowing snow with the stronger winds coming over the Continental Divide up along I-15, up along US 20, and also Idaho 87. But we'll be watching that. Otherwise, light snow in general. Some locally higher amounts across the mid and upper slopes. Some areas seeing in excess of 2 inches, 2 to 4 inches over the central mountains. And a lot of this is showery versus widespread snow. So it's why it's not exactly you're seeing big bands of widespread snow across the area, at least this afternoon. Similar conditions across the rest of the higher elevations of southeast Idaho. Into this evening, those strong winds basically Pocatello southward and westward still, gusts 25 to 35, at times over 40 miles an hour, especially along 84 and 86 south towards the Utah border. Those northerly winds coming in, some of those gusts 25 to 35, locally higher along I-15. I think if we had a lot colder conditions going, maybe if we're seeing some of the much colder temperatures we saw maybe a month ago, we definitely have to worry about some blowing and drifting snow up north. It will be there, but certainly not a widespread issue at this point, it appears. We'll just be keeping an eye on that. Again, light amounts, generally locally higher in the higher elevations. Also maybe a little bit higher with the developing convergence band up north of Idaho Falls out in the Arco Desert. Going into tonight, those northerly winds continue to push south and west. The westerly winds really confined to basically around Sublet, I-84 west into the Magic and Treasure Valleys. Some of those gusts still south of the interstate in excess of 50 miles per hour in a few spots. 25 to 35 mile an hour gusts common, coming across the divide a little higher up towards the Montana border. And again, snow amounts are light, but you'll notice we start to see maybe a little higher snow totals coming across the Arco Desert with the convergence band late this evening. And of course, some pretty good snows across the higher elevations of the South Hills and the Albion Mountains tonight. And then you start to see that upslope taking shape from Pocatello westward. That includes the interstate corridor, the benches, and into the higher elevations of the South Hills and Albion Mountains continuing. Those wind gusts still pretty breezy, especially coming across the Montana border and down south of the interstate into especially south of Twin Falls. Tomorrow afternoon, you see the trends continuing. The winds do start to come down, but the pattern is still very similar. Northerly winds over most of the area, northwest winds, what you get into the Magic Valley westward, and just some light snow amounts. And we'll probably get back into some showery activity tomorrow afternoon. So locally higher amounts, especially over the mountains or where we get any showers over the lower elevations. Tomorrow evening, the trend continues to decrease with the wind and the snow amounts across the region. But still, we've got quite a bit of moisture coming with this system, mainly in the form of snow because of those colder temperatures. And for today, many of us setting at or mid-30s or colder, maybe a little warmer over towards Glens Ferry and Mountain Home, and also down south of Malad towards Snowville in that direction. Otherwise, it'll be in the 20s this afternoon in the colder spots. We go to Wednesday. We're going to skip every couple of days here just to kind of show you the trend. Not much of a difference, maybe a little warmer into the Magic Valley and Treasure Valleys where we'll start to see a few more 40s on Wednesday. But here we go into Friday. 40s and 50s abound, really generally looking at only below freezing temperatures once you get up to the higher ridge tops. And that trend especially continues into Saturday. Look at those temperatures into the 60s. Some folks, would be their first 60-degree temperatures of 2023 if we do see this pattern continuing to hold up. There's a very likely chance this is happening. there's a good chunk of the models. There's only about a 20% of the model forecast we look at. If you look at the probability forecast, about 20% of the forecast models actually are keeping in temperatures cooler and not much of a ridge over the area, at least not as strong as a ridge. Something to keep an eye on, though, but definitely warmer temperatures coming our way. And one of the things we talk about when we worry about the snowmelt and runoff increasing, we're not necessarily going to have a lot of rain on snow when we get these really warm temperatures in here, but the overnight lows. When you get overnight lows that stay at or above freezing, that's when you start to see increasing runoff, because there's really not a period for that runoff and snowmelt to slow down. And you'll notice many areas setting below 50%, lower than a 50-50 shot of staying below freezing Sunday morning. And these numbers just keep getting lower and lower. These percentages keep getting lower and lower into the early part of next week. So to give you an idea of where we're headed weather-wise, at least temperatures going into next week. Once again, we do have some snow and wind to continue with this afternoon into tomorrow. There'll be some light snow as we head into the weekend, but the bulk of the activity is coming in the early part of this week. And if the ridge holds true, we're going to see some pretty warm temperatures coming our way next week. Have a great day and stay safe out there, everyone.